Your character, when we first meet him, is a terrorist interrogator, and what's
Yes.
interesting about that is that acting is almost part of his job. You know, he
Yeah.
has to be friendly, he has to be
Yes.
brutal. Was
Yes.
it interesting exploring that aspect of the character?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're a CIA field operative that are used to working in places where, that's not their initial job. They're working with the State Department. They're blending in. I like to travel. I like to do, the ability to come into a place, learn the language, work out, which bank teller, where to eat, how to fit in to meet people. Yeah, it was great. And constantly, I mean, you see that constantly throughout the film, whether I'm in the interrogation room, whether I'm, in the boardroom in Islamabad, then, with the monkeys, then with, with the car dealership selling a car, and in a bar, and then, in Washington. And they have to adapt to many, many different places. And this, we take you in there and let you see really how these guys and what their world is. And it's pretty fascinating, isn't it? I mean, they are chameleons.
Absolutely, yeah. And those scenes between you and the terrorists that you're interrogating are some of the most intense in the
Yeah.
film. How intense were those scenes to shoot?
Yeah, I mean, you just get, I like as an actor to get that opportunity to lose yourself within a scene, and we shot those and we got into it and these things happened, and it was great to kick off the scene and put it into a real place that that is true to the story, is true to the facts, and then follow that all the way through to that helicopter raid, going into Abbottabad and then with her on the plane. You lose yourself as an actor, and that's the great thing that Kathryn creates on set, and Mark's script, which is so precise and exact that it gives you the space just to get in there and do what needs to be done.
Can you talk a little bit about performing on location? I believe
Yeah.
it was shot in India or predominantly.
India, yeah.
Does
Jordan,
that,
a lot in Jordan, yeah.
does
And then
that,
London.
I mean, I got to assume some of the
Yeah.
oppressive heat adds a little something to your
Oh
performance. right?
man, I mean, you're right. You got sandstorms, you got crazy drivers, you got cows in the middle of the road. You got desert landscapes. I mean, the food. I mean, it's absorbing yourself into that world that gives you. You're not shooting on a lot in the back of Hollywood. And I think that's once again the integrity of the story that we've tried to stick to. It is like filming it as much as we can. As it was, doing what happened. And I think at the end of that leads up to the whole, the integrity of the script, that it's honest.
You've been acting for several years,
Yeah.
but it's only seems like in these last few that we're really seeing you front and center in some
Yeah.
really major projects.
Yeah.
Has this been a gratifying experience, or is it just sort of another stage in your career?
It's great. It's really. I mean, it's lovely. Anytime. As every actor wants to be given, a great part and the responsibility of a great part, and when great directors give it to you, it's even more lovely. I mean, it's a big community, of people that with a long history, and to work, is first make a living first and foremost, and then you want to satisfy yourself creatively. And in the last couple of years, I'm happily marrying the two, which is lovely.
And finally, next summer we're going to see you in a movie a little bit different, but
Yeah.
you're front and center in that. Roland Emmerich's
Yes,
White House
White
Down.
House Down.
What can you tease about your character in that?
Oh, it's going to be big and bad, and I mean, it's a Roland Emmerich as Roland Emmerich does it. Everyone's in for a treat. There's a fight sequence between Channing and I, which is insane, which I'm still nursing 2 broken ribs.
Nice.